Hello, welcome to another episode of Be the Boss of Your Money. So nice of you to make it today. I'm Mitch Goldberg. I appreciate your time. It's very valuable. It means a lot to me that you chose to spend some of it with me. This is about personal finance. It's called Be the Boss of Your Money. It's my live stream podcast. We talk about personal finance. That includes so many things like investing know-how, investing strategy, financial planning, insurance, tax, everything under the sun, estate planning. We cover it all here. I want nothing more than for you to walk away from each show being better with your money, being the boss of your money. I know it sounds kind of corny, be the boss of your money. I was looking for that like cool, I don't know, kind of everything's like be the boss this, be the boss that. So be the boss of your money. But it is easy. It is easy. Okay, it's very easy for your money to become the boss of you. It's really easy. And it happens all the time to so many people. And if you're watching this, it's probably happened to you more than once. It just happens. Things get out of control. So we're talking about personal finance. I want to talk to you a little bit about location of assets, because you hear the three most important words in real estate is location, location, location. And in the stock market, it's timing, timing, and timing. But I think we could use location, location, location with the stock market as well. We'll get into that. We'll get into today's action. It looked like a pretty scary sell-off was continuing from yesterday in the NASDAQ falling into today. Things recovered nicely off the bottom. So we're going to take a look at a couple things. We'll just roll that real quick intro. You're watching Be the Boss of Your Money. If you're watching this in the live stream, please ask your questions in the comments. If you're watching this in the replay, welcome to you as well. I would love to answer your questions. I'll be looking out for those. Here we go. Thank you for joining me. If you're just with us now, if you're joining us in the live stream, the podcast, it's Be the Boss of Your Money. I'm Mitch Goldberg. I am psyched to be here. It is a beautiful Tuesday afternoon in New York. I hope it's nice where you are too. I looked at the weather, upcoming weather for Houston, and I saw some 75-degree days. Boy, oh boy, you guys could use some nice warm weather, man. So let's get into a couple of things. First of all, today was looking like a pretty scary sell-off, and market was off quite a bit today, but things turn around pretty solidly. I think by any standard, you cannot complain about today. If you just looked at the end of today's trading, you'd be like, it was kind of a nothing day. I didn't miss anything. You missed a lot of fireworks. You missed a lot of fireworks during the day when the NASDAQ was tanking. And, you know, I call them the ARK stocks from ARK Investments, Kathy Wood, and her stocks were plunging. And I want to talk to you about a Zoom call I was on yesterday that was absolutely fantastic. And if you're thinking like, what do you mean? There's no such thing as a fantastic Zoom call. And I'm like, yeah, this was pretty good. And, it was great. I learned a lot, and I made some new friends, so I was really happy about that. But let's take a quick look at how things turned out for the day. I'm going to pop myself over here. There I am, bottom right-hand corner. You see me? You see me? You see me? All right. Let me put too much gel. Let me get back to that share screen though. Okay. All right, we're back in here. All right, so hopefully you could see this on your little smartphone screen, but the Dow is down quite a bit, recovered, up 15 on the day. S&P was even up a little bit today. NASDAQ off 0.5%. 0.5%, you know, barely gets my attention. I mean, I look, but typically 1% moves in the major averages is what gets my attention. The Russell 2K, that's the Russell 2000. You see that Russ 2K? I don't know if you could see my cursor on the screen. Yeah, you can. It's down almost 1%. That's a small cap stocks. I'm surprised that was down because economically sensitive stocks worked out yesterday and worked out really, really well today. And the Russell 2000 small cap index, well, that's pretty economically sensitive. Smaller cap companies, small companies, they get most of their revenue domestically, so they're more subject to the whims of the domestic economy, and they have less access to big money through stock offerings and borrowing. But good day today, and it's expected that the economy will keep picking up steam. Okay, so let's move on. The VIX. The VIX continues to come down a little bit, and down to 23. It was up a little bit. You want the VIX to be down, by the way. That's like one of the things when it goes down, it's usually pretty good. We've been hoping consistently. I've been talking about this for about a year now, literally about a year, to see the VIX go under 20. And we touched under 20 like a week and a half ago for about, I don't know, it felt like about a minute. It was really fast. It just couldn't hold. But when the VIX goes under 20, it's expected that would give the stock market another boost up, another leg up. Okay, yeah. So let's keep going, okay? You take a look at the FANG names, FANG M, Netflix up, Facebook, Amazon. Nice recovery from yesterday. Google, Apple is off a drop. Microsoft off a little bit. If you want to know why the S&P 500 was able to finish up, it's because these stocks were more up than down. Let's take a look at some crypto. I go with the crypto on Coinbase, down 5,000, so down 9% to 53,000. Well, down to 48,000 on the close. So 48,000 from 53 yesterday. All right, so, Bitcoin's coming in and it's pulling down a lot of hot stocks like Tesla, like PayPal, and other companies that all of a sudden were viewed to be somehow enlightened by getting into crypto. I've been saying this for a long time. I can give you so many good reasons of why crypto and Bitcoin, Bitcoin is just one crypto. It's the biggest by far, but I could give you so many reasons to get into this, and I could give you so many reasons as to why it's a joke. And I'm not here to judge. If you want to trade this, you trade it. If you don't, you don't. If you want to, it's tough to say this is an investment. I talked all about crypto in yesterday's session. We were jamming on Bitcoin and the whole crypto space and taxes. That was probably one of the most informative live stream podcasts I've ever done about Bitcoin. It was all Bitcoin and taxes. I hope you'll take a look at that. I will cut that down into a couple of snippets. So if you are connected with me, I'm on Instagram at InstaMitchG, Facebook, Client First Strategy. I'm also Mitchell Goldberg. You can reach me there. But if you reach me there and I don't know you, just let me know that you check me out on the live stream, and then we'll be cool, and I'll accept your friend request. And I'm also on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where I do most of my posting. Mitchell Goldberg, AIF, AAMS. A couple little titles after my name there, but Mitchell Goldberg on LinkedIn. Okay, let's keep going. This was always a big story. I think it's the big story of the year, of the whole year. It's not GameStop. It's not Bitcoin. It's bonds. But the 10-year Treasury solidly in the 1.3% range. The yield curve has gotten pretty steep. There used to be a picture of the yield curve every day here. There's not anymore. Let's take a look at some futures. Oil off a drop, but still, I mean, it's over 60. Almost a year ago, oil went to negative territory. Brent up, nat gas off a drop, but oil over $60. Okay. And that we're talking about West Texas Intermediate. That's the oil that comes from the United States. Brent C, but that's overseas foreign oil is Brent. It's priced. They're priced differently. Gold is off a little bit. Gold just, every time gold seems to catch a bid, it just can never quite get out of its own way. Silver's had a pretty big run. Copper's trading up a lot. Commodities in general have been doing very well. So let's enough of that. All right. So I want to talk to you a couple of things I expect, a couple of things I'm doing, and I want to talk to you about location of your assets. First of all, do you hear this? It's like a buzz, like a hum. I have to figure out how to make this a little bit. There we go. You could hear that one, right? Just got a new gadget for the live stream. It is this. It is the from Akai Professional MPX8, a mobile sample player. I don't know why they call it mobile. It sits nicely on your desk, and it just adds an extra level of engagement, I think, for my live stream. I'll show you what this looks like if you can see this from here. From here, you see that? It's right over here. Okay. There's this doodad over here. Okay. And the touch pads are very sensitive. You just touch it and they work. So it works with the mixer I have, and that is the Mackie Pro FX over here. And then what ties the whole stream together is the A10 Mini, and this is the juice right here. And this is what brings me from camera angle to camera angle to camera angle back to camera angle. So we've got a couple of new things. I think the most important part of my live stream gear is actually this. This is the Shure MV7 mic. Darn good mic. Probably it's new. It's one of the best mics in the market. If you're out there, by the way, and you give if you give this live stream podcast a thumbs up, I will see your name. I'll see you out there, and I could say hello. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Let me know where you're from. I saw Phil yesterday coming in from Florida, a few people from around the country, and I think that is great. It's very encouraging. So your words of encouragement, by the way, words of wisdom are always appreciated. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to talk to you about a couple of things here. Who's out there? Ooh, Carmine is out there. Carmine D. DeMonico. Thank you so much, man. Good sound quality. Thank you very, very much for checking in there and letting me know. I'm going to be doing a live stream just on how I live stream my whole setup, my whole gear, by the way. So tune in. Maybe I'm thinking I'll do that Thursday. Keep it light on a Thursday. I'd love to do that. And who's out there? Hey, Rob Manita. Hey, man, thank you very much. I'm loving it. Thank you very much. I very kind of you, sir. Thank you, Rob. Sir Rob. Appreciate that, brother. Yes. So two quick things. I was on a Zoom call. My friend Brandon Giddickson, really smart guy. We've never actually met in person. We met on LinkedIn, and then we start talking on the phone, and then we were on a Zoom call last night. He sets up these Zoom calls of investors, friends, and it's just like we talk shop. These are not financial advisors. He invited me, and he said it would be really cool. You'd be the only financial advisor in the call. So we did this, and it was really cool because you hear about Reddit and GameStop and short squeezes, at Robinhood. The guys I was on with yesterday, about 10 or so of them, they were the guys. Like this is what they do, and I didn't know what to expect. One of them I'm actually good friends with already. And we got into it, and I was just there to learn, and to answer any questions and meet new people. Good networking opportunity. I was so impressed with, I was so impressed with the quality. I was just so impressed with the quality of the information of what these guys do. They're talking about oscillators, MACD, all kinds of charting, like really serious about investing. And their thing is, from what I could surmise, is they take control of their investing, and they realize their serious money could go into something more stable. But on Webull or Robinhood, wherever they're trading, they've got systems set up, processes, strategies. It was really cool. And they named a bunch of stocks, GNUS, Clover, CLOV, AUUD, just a couple of really cool, names that you wouldn't ordinarily get into, that you wouldn't ordinarily see. Who's that? Rob, Mitch, let's talk soon. I want to talk to you about Culk. I'd love to talk to you about the Culk Interactive. I love what you guys are doing. I mean, let me say that better. I love what you guys are doing, man. I'd love to talk to you about Culk Interactive, your whole setup, your whole studio. It's like the guests you have, the quality. It's really, really incredible. You guys just like are onto the scene just pretty recently, and it's amazing what you guys are doing and what you've been able to do. It's really enjoyable. Okay, and so we will definitely talk about that, Rob. And who else? Carmine says, I recognize your name, Rob. I am on the LLS committee. Oh, okay. I just, do you guys know my friend Beth Granger? She's raising money this year for LLS. I just donated $100 to her Facebook page for that. Very cool, man. Good for you, Carmine. So, we should talk about that. We should have you guys on. We could just talk about LLS and all these other great charities we're raising money for. So, wait, Ron says, Ron, you need an SD card to load sound. You know what, Ron? I have the SD card. It's in the box. I just got this today from B&H. I got a 36 gigabyte SD card. Right, it's like right. I could almost reach it without getting out of my chair. Your computer needs a USB attached card reader. Yeah, I know. I have the I have a Sony card reader for USB. So I already have the sounds picked out, and they have to be WAV files, and they can only be 8 digits along each name of each file when you load it in and all that. I'm really into this stuff. Yeah, appreciate it very much. You got it, buddy. All right, so I was on the Zoom call, and I was really impressed. And it's one thing to hear about this generation of traders and Robinhood, but when you get into it with them, these guys know their shit. I mean, like, they're really, really educated, and they've got the lingo down. They've got it all down. And it was just such a great conversation. But the cool thing is, I just want to say, as a financial advisor, I can't have every idea. And it was so great to sit down with these guys and hear the new, unique ideas. And they made so much sense. Look, they're speculative. And these guys all come out and admit this is speculative stuff. But that's what they were talking about. And it was great to be welcomed into the crew and to talk about this stuff. It was really cool. One of the things I mentioned was, Kathy Wood. Do you know who Kathy Wood is? ARK Investments, ARKK. That's her asset management company. They've got a couple of funds, and she's the hottest thing since sliced bread. She's a fund manager, and what she's doing is she's going into just the hottest stocks, loading up, and she's so smart. When you hear her speak, I'm sure she's a very nice person, and I'm sure she's very, very smart. When she speaks, she's so smart, and she lays out such a good case for Tesla going up, and for Palantir, and so many other stocks that she talks about. Okay, these are not my stocks. I'm just saying what she's talking about. I have other tech stocks and internet stocks. Internet. I have the new economy stocks. I have them up the wazoo. But you can't own all of them, because what happens is you wind up with a portfolio literally filled with, high-tech stocks, high flyers. And what I wish I had said is, and look, their trading accounts, these guys I was on with yesterday, is not maybe not their main account. But for my clients, what I say is, if every single stock in your account, and I use stocks and exchange traded funds, but I really like to use individual stocks too. So what I say is, for the clients who are suitable for individual stocks, because not everybody is, but if you're a individual stock investor, and if all of your stocks are up, then you're probably doing something wrong. And you might think, how could you say that? Well, my stocks are up. There's something called diversification. And diversification is not a strategy to maximize return. It's a strategy to minimize risk. Okay. So that your overall return isn't overly impacted by the worst performing investment in your portfolio. Now, in a generally down market, diversification won't save your portfolio from going down with the overall market. It could help it go down less. It could help it recover quicker, but it's a strategy to reduce risk, not maximize return. So if you have all winners, you're probably investing in all very similar stocks. So if you have, DocuSign, Zoom, Airbnb, DoorDash, I'll throw in Alphabet in there. I'll throw in Amazon. Do you see the pattern here? You're in all the high flyers, great companies, miracles what these companies have accomplished, but they're still stocks. So maybe you need an energy stock, an industrial stock, a consumer staples stock, consumer discretionary. And when you start to diversify, that means different assets in your portfolio, different holdings would do well at different times. And one feeling I walk away with is that people are really caught up in the high flyers. I was 33 years old in the year 2000. So all I could tell you is been there, done that. And back in the day, we had people like Henry Blodgett, who, by the way, is the founder of Business Insider, but he was kicked out of the securities industry. He was one of the first internet stock analysts. And we had the Munder Net Fund, for example, and the ARK Investments, to me, is like the Munder Net Fund of 1999, where you had these new funds that would just pile all their money into the hottest stocks. And Munder Net went from like 5 to about 115, back to 5, and it was a disaster after that. And I don't like it when money managers become celebrities. To me, a sign of a top is when stock picking money managers become media stars, where they are perceived as gurus, as they are perceived as someone who knows something that's mysterious that we all don't know, and we're not all on the inside, but that person does. And I believe that person. I'm going to follow that person. I think that's a sign of a top. I really do. Now, this, somewhat bubblicious market could keep, I'm not saying it's bubblicious everywhere, but the high flyers could keep going up. Not saying they can't. And maybe this could go on for a lot longer. Maybe not. If I knew, I would tell you. All I could do is, as clients are getting closer to the time when they need their money, I pull back the risk and I lower their stock holdings, increase their cash and bond holdings, because they're getting ready to needing their money for financial obligations, like spending money for their child's college, or for their retirement, or for a retirement home. They're going to buy a home in Florida or something. That's what that is for. Okay. Ron is there. I used to supply the mafia with filofaxes. You could say I was into very organized crime. See, that's when I need this sampler here to go boom, boom, like that. I have the sound. I just have to load it onto the SD card tonight, and I'll be able to do that. That was a good one. Organized crime. Yeah. That was really bad. Okay. Okay. How much time before? I guess you're asking me, Carmine, is how much time before you need the money should you start to de-risk, liquidate stocks, and move that into cash and bonds for your needs? I would say, typically 2 or 3 years in advance, 4 or 5 years in advance. I'd rather be early than late. Put it that way. Because if you have to sell into a down market, you have to sell more shares to get the same amount of money out of it. And if you do that, then if you don't have as many shares still invested, then even if they recover, you'll always be behind the 8 ball, and it's called the negative sequence of returns, right? Yes, okay, I got that right. Then I interpreted that right. Thank you very much for asking. And it could be for different goals. As somebody is 65, maybe their portfolio might only be 40 or 50% stock. Look, just because somebody is older doesn't mean that they have to be 90% bonds and 10% cash. And somebody who's younger has to be 90% stock and 10% bonds. Did I say that right? Just because somebody's older doesn't mean they're 90% bonds and 10% stocks. If I didn't say that right, everyone's different, but more or less the key determinant to your risk tolerance, is your time horizon to your financial goal. Now, we're not getting into like speculation, things like that, because some investments are so risky that if they go down, there's a good chance that the losses are permanent. This is why I say speculation is okay, as long as it's a small chunk of your overall portfolio and you're not speculating with money that if you lose it, it would ruin your financial future. Okay. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about location of assets, because we're bumping up against the 30-minute mark. I like to stay within that time frame. Location. You hear that for real estate, but you could hear that for the stock market investing as well. And this has to do with tax deferred, tax sheltered, tax free accounts. And there are a number of accounts, but that you could have. Like, for example, you can have a 401k plan. That's very common. Most people have a 401k if you're working for another company. And with the 401k plan, there's no income limit. You could make $100,000, $1 million, $1 billion. You could put money into your 401k plan. 19,000 for most people, extra 7,000. 19,500 for most people, extra 7,000 plus if you're up to about 25 grand if you're over 50. And that's a good thing to do. But what I tell a lot of people is maybe get up to $13,000 into your 401k plan, and the rest of it, or 13,500, and then get the rest of it into a self-directed IRA, because a self-directed IRA has more choices, more investment choices. So if you're going to be investing money, where should it be? Great in a 401k, great in an IRA. Even better if you can put that money into a Roth IRA. Now, there are income limits to allow that prevent some people from putting money into a Roth IRA. Okay. And the limits are pretty high. So it's about $139,000 for a single filer and $206,000 for joint filer. That's your modified adjusted gross income. But if you could put money into a Roth IRA, that would be a great place to be, because when you take the money out, it comes out tax-free in the future. And there's no required minimum distributions after you turn age 72. It used to be 70 and a half. Now it's 72 in the United States. So would only be in the United States, because this is where we have IRAs. Okay. So that is something to consider. And then there's a health savings account. So if you have a high deductible health insurance plan with your company, and you can have a health savings account, this is tough to do because you put money into the health savings account. You get a tax deduction on that amount of money. There's no income limit. Okay. But if you could leave the money there, the money comes out tax-free as long as it's used for healthcare. So what some high income earners are doing is they're contributing, in addition to their 401k plan and maxing that out, they're contributing to their health savings account, getting a deduction for that as well. And then when they retire, they take that money out tax-free and use that money to pay for their health care. Last thing I'll say is for a Roth IRA, because there are income limits, but there aren't income limits to do a conversion from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. And generally speaking, if you're under 50, generally speaking, I think it's advisable to do. Everyone's situation is different. Consult with your tax and legal advisor for your situation. 50 to 60, it still may be worth it. Over 60, it gets a little fuzzy, because then you have to really expect that you're going to leave the money there in the Roth IRA for a long time. Because what happens is when you convert from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA, let's say you convert $50,000 from an IRA to a Roth, that $50,000 becomes income. So now you might have, let's say, a $15,000, $20,000 tax bill. And if you don't have the money outside of your IRA to pay that tax bill, then I would say it's inadvisable to do it. If you have the money set aside, then do it. And I have a lot of clients who are CPAs, and they're very into doing this. They do this for themselves. So that's about it. I thank you for watching. I'm going to sign off. You got color bleed on your face. I don't know why I got color bleed on my face, but I'll work on that. I could tell you this: I have a big window over here with snow on the ground, and there is so much natural light coming in here. It's like blinding sometimes. Maybe that's what it is. Thank you very much, folks, for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. If you think of any questions that you didn't think of now, hit me up in the comments in the replay, and I'll be sure to get to those. Thank you.